the world's richest women. It's quite fascinating to see that the list of the world's richest people is still dominated by men. That's why it piques a lot of interest to see where women rank in such lists. You may think that Oprah Winfrey, one of the world's most influential women, will nab a spot on the list. But let me tell you that she does not even hit the top 5. Welcome to Luxco, and today we will take a look at the world's richest women as of 2022 and how they garnered such a massive amount of wealth. Some of these names will sound familiar to you, while others will definitely surprise you. That's simply a strong indication that the world's wealth doesn't sit on its most obvious industries. Before we dive into the opulence of these women, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that post notification on so you'll never miss a video from us. Starting with number 5, we have Mackenzie Scott with a net worth of $46.1 billion. Mackenzie Scott is formerly known as Mackenzie Scott Bezos. She is the ex-wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, to whom she was married for 25 years. Scott mainly got her wealth from her divorce with Bezos last 2019, where she received 25% of Bezos' Amazon stakes. This is equivalent to approximately $38 million in Amazon stock, landing her on the 5th spot on our list. This is also regarded as the biggest settlement ever rewarded in a marital split. Scott is known to be a philanthropist, and in May 2019, just months after she announced the terms of their divorce on Twitter, she signed the Giving Pledge, wherein she promises to give away at least half of her wealth throughout her lifetime. Her most notable donations happened in 2020, when she gave away an approximate amount of $5.8 billion to 500 nonprofit organizations. These organizations focus on racial equality, LGBTQ equality, democracy, and climate change. In 2021, she donated another $2.74 billion to 286 groups. Her most recent donation happened in February 2022, when she donated a record $50 million to the National 4-H Council, an agriculturally focused youth organization that serves 6 million children nationwide. Scott's philanthropy is described as a no-strings-attached style of giving, wherein the recipients of her donations have full control over how to best deploy the new funds. Scott is also known to be an author, and she has 2 published novels to date. Not much is known about Scott's assets, as her philanthropic works are highlighted more in the public eye. On number 4, we have Jacqueline Mars. She's worth $48.8 billion. Her last name may ring a bell. Jacqueline Mars is a well-known American businesswoman who comes from a famous family of candy makers. She is the heiress of the American candy company Mars, which is known for manufacturing several popular chocolate bars like Milky Way, Snickers, M&M, and, of course, the Mars bar. As of the present day, Mars Incorporated is one of the top 5 largest privately held companies in America. But let's go back a few decades to learn a quick history about the company. Mars Incorporated is founded by Jacqueline's grandfather named Forrest Mars Sr. When Forrest Mars Sr. died in 1999, Jacqueline and her brothers John Mars and Forrest Mars Jr. inherited a stake in the company. Jacqueline has worked for the company for nearly 20 years and served on the board until 2016. When Forrest Mars Jr. died, Jacqueline and John Mars have co-owned the company, but they don't actively manage it. They have the biggest share of the family fortune with 1/3 of shares each, which is estimated to be at $24 billion each. The late Forrest Jr.'s 4 daughters own the remaining third with $6 billion each. As of Forbes report, the Mars family is considered America's 3rd richest family dynasty. The Mars family is described as notoriously private and limelight avoidant. Even their Mars headquarters in the Virginia suburbs is dubbed as secretive and anonymous. Among the 3 siblings, Jacqueline is described as the only sibling with a lifestyle that is close to reflecting her billionaire status. She listed her estate in New Jersey for $2 million, has a place called Stone Hall Farm in Virginia, and maintains her mother's Watergate penthouse. Nabbing the 3rd spot is Julia Koch with a net worth of $56.9 billion. She inherited her wealth from her husband, David Koch, who died in 2019. Julia was born in 1962, and her family came from a farming background. Later on, Julia's parents were able to establish a furniture store called Fleischer's in Iowa. At 8 years old, Julia's family moved to Arkansas, and there they started a clothing store called Peggy Fredericks. After graduating, Julia worked as a model and decided to move to New York City, where she worked as an assistant to a renowned fashion designer, Adolfo Sardinia, and did fittings for Nancy Reagan. Julia met David Koch on a blind date in 1991, and they got married in 1996 at David Koch's house. David Koch is the executive vice president of Koch Industries, the largest privately held company in the United States. When David Koch died in 2019, Julia Koch and her 3 children inherited a 42% stake in Koch Industries, which was worth around $50 billion at the time. Julia Koch's real estate portfolio is what most people would consider extremely impressive. In 1991, David Koch paid $4 million for 2 side-by-side mansions in Aspen. This property is now estimated to be worth at least $20 million. In 1992, 4 years before David and Julia's marriage, David paid $7.5 million for a 7-bedroom mansion on Meadow Lane in Southampton, New York. As of the present day, this property is likely worth $40 to $50 million. In 1998, the couple paid $10.5 million for a 1920s-era mansion called Villa El Sarmiento in Palm Beach, Florida. Today, this property is potentially worth north of $70 million. In 2004, Julia and David paid $17 million for an 18-room duplex co-op apartment at 740 Park Avenue. It has been referred to as the richest building in the world. Sitting at number 2 is Alice Walton, worth over $67 billion. Alice Walton, who was born in 1949, is the only daughter of Walmart founder Sam Walton. This makes her the heiress to the fortune of Walmart. She has 2 brothers named Rob and Jim, but unlike them, she has focused on curating art rather than working for Walmart. She is considered the world's richest art collector. In 2011, she opened the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in her hometown of Bentonville, Arkansas. Crystal Bridges Museum features works from the likes of Andy Warhol, Norman Rockwell, and Mark Rothko. It is reported that the artworks inside Walton's museum are worth over $500 million in total. In December 2004, Walton purchased artworks sold from the collection of Daniel Fraud and Rita Fraud at Sotheby's in New York City. In 2005, Walton purchased Asher Brown Durant's luxurious painting called Kindred Spirit in a sealed bid auction for an astounding amount of $35 million. In 2009, Alice Walton also acquired Norman Rockwell's Rosie the Riveteer for a mere $4.9 million. Alice's love for the arts and collecting began way back in childhood when she was 11 years old and bought a 25-cent print of Picasso's Blue Nude. She paid for it with 5 weeks of earnings from selling popcorn outside on the sidewalk. Alice and her mother would also paint watercolors of Yosemite's mountain vistas and Yellowstone's lush canyons side by side. And our top spot is taken by Francois Bettencourt Meyers with $74 billion net worth. But who is this richest woman on the globe? Where did all of her money come from? To find out, we must go into the history of the source of her immense wealth, the cosmetic behemoth L'Oreal. Eugene Schuler's daughter, who is also Meyer's mother, Lillian Bettencourt, inherited Schuler's fortune back in 1957. When Lillian passed away in 2017, Francois Meyers inherited 33% of L'Oreal's stocks and became the world's richest woman, a title she has maintained ever since. Despite owning a 33% stake in L'Oreal, Francois channels her time into something quite different from the cosmetics industry: authoring books. Meyers is known to be an academic who was raised Catholic. The heiress has penned books on everything from Greek mythology to the Bible. Bettencourt Meyers also serves as the president of her family's philanthropic foundation, which encourages French progress in the sciences and arts. In April 2019, when the Notre Dame caught fire, L'Oreal and the Bettencourt Meyers family donated $226 million to help in the cathedral's restoration. Francois Bettencourt Meyers is also a car enthusiast, She has a very luxurious and expensive collection of cars that includes a Bentley Continental worth $220,000, a Jaguar F-Type worth $120,000, and the Porsche 911, which is worth about $114,000. And there you have it, the top 5 richest women that are gracing the earth today. As you can see, they come from different industries and made their fortune through different means as well. Are we going to see one of them seize a spot in the men-dominated list of the world's richest billionaires? We'll make sure to keep our eyes out for that. Once again, this is LuxCove, and we'll see you in the next video.